Okay. Julie, could you start recording and live streaming of the meeting, please? No, it's on. Lovely. Julie, could you call the roll, please?
Thank you, Chairman. Councillor Anscombe, Councillor Ashby, Councillor Askew, Councillor Atterwill, Councillor Bambridge, Councillor Bate, Councillor Annie Blackburn, Councillor David Blackburn, Councillor Borrett,
Present.
Councillor Bowes, Councillor Brindle, Councillor Marion Chapman-Allen, Councillor Sam Chapman-Allen,
Here.
Councillor Clark,
Here.
Councillor Clausen, Councillor Cogman, Councillor Cowan,
Here.
Councillor Crane, Councillor Duffield, Councillor Eagle, Councillor Fraser, Councillor Gilbert,
Here.
Councillor Harvey,
Here.
Councillor Hewitt, Councillor Hunter Clark,
Here.
Councillor Hussey,
Here.
Councillor Kiddell, Councillor Kiddle-Morris,
Here.
Councillor Kybird,
Here.
Councillor Land,
Here.
Councillor McCambridge, Councillor Monument, Councillor Morton, Councillor Nunn, Councillor O'Callaghan, Councillor Oliver, Councillor Plummer, Councillor Richmond, Councillor Suggett, Councillor Samantha Taylor, Councillor Sarah Taylor, Councillor Taylor, Councillor Terry,
Here.
Councillor Turner, Councillor Webb, Councillor Wickerson,
Here.
Councillor Wilkin,
Here.
and Councillor Wilkinson.
Here.
Thank you. Are there any apologies, Julie? Seem to be quite an awful lot of empty seats.
Thank you, Chairman. We have apologies from Councillor Ashby, Councillor Askew, Councillor Atterwill, Councillor Bate, Councillor Annie Blackburn, Councillor Bowes, Councillor Brindle, Councillor Marion Chapman-Allen, Councillor Clausen, Councillor Duffield, Councillor Eagle, Councillor Fraser, Councillor Hewitt, Councillor McCambridge, Councillor Morton, Councillor Nunn, Councillor Oliver, and Councillor Sarah Taylor.
Thank you, Julie. Are there any other apologies from people? No? Thank you. Good. Which brings us on to item 2, the minutes. Are members happy to agree the minutes of the meeting held on the 20th of February? Yeah. Councillor Hunter Clark.
Thank you, Chairman. I wish to raise a point of order. Thank you for allowing me to do so. Under the minutes, I wish to respond to the claims made about me at the last council meeting regarding the matter of me joining Reform UK. Let me make this crystal clear to all of you. I did not leave the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party left me. Reform is the only party that can save Britain, and the sooner people wake up to that fact, the better. I understand that Conservative members here would prefer me not to have me holding them to account, but I'm afraid you're stuck with me until the next election. And rest assured, I will continue to provide the strong opposition that Breckland so desperately needs. Councillor Chapman-Allen referred to me, and this is why I'm able to bring it up under the minutes, and suggested that I should call a by-election. This is the same Councillor Chapman-Allen who has welcomed defectors into his own group without question. The hypocrisy is staggering.
Are we on? Just a minute.
To my former colleagues,
can we just have a little bit of quiet, please?
I've asked
just
the
a
chair.
minute. I'm just trying to clarify if we've got the right minutes
These are the minutes.
of the 20th of February. It's not
Well, you're
the
going to agree B as well, so...
Well, I'm going to the 20th of February. So is it your wish that I sign the minutes of the 20th of February? Agreed. Thank you. That one. I'll take that one. Which brings us on to the meeting of the 20th of March. Is everybody happy that I sign? Yeah, Councillor Borrett.
Thank Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have an amendment to the minutes. If on page 10 of the minutes, it said that, and I'm just reading from the minutes at the moment to just so that help the officers find the place. Picking up on Councillor Attewell's comments about Norfolk County Council, Councillor Borrett pointed out that it was a Labour-led authority that ran up the debt in the first place, along with which Councillor Jeremy, now Labour MP, had been part of the administration at that time. Councillor Jeremy, now resigned from Breckland and Norfolk County Council, did vote to postpone the election, and at that time was a Labour member group of the council. It goes on to say, Councillor Land pointed out that Councillor Jeremy did not vote on the council elections, he had abstained, and asked for Councillor Borrett's comments to be withdrawn. And I then said that if I was incorrect, I apologise. So I have been back and seen the tape of the meeting, and there was one abstention at that meeting at Norfolk County Council, and that was Councillor Martin's Story, and Councillor Terry Jeremy did vote to postpone the elections. So Councillor Land's assertion was incorrect, and we should amend the minutes. So my apology was not necessary.
We can note that in this minutes, but we can't amend the previous minutes because that's what was discussed at the previous meeting.
Yeah, I'm informed that we can't change the minutes, but we can put a note to the fact that it was incorrect. Is that right?
Chairman, I believe the minutes are an accurate reflection of the conversation and debate that happened at the previous meeting. In the minutes of this meeting, we can note the comments that Councillor Borrett has made.
Right. Thank you. Is it your wish now that I sign these as a correct record? Do you
I assume you'll allow me to continue now.
continue?
Thank you, Chair.
Not start from the beginning again.
No, I won't do that. Thank you. To my former colleagues, I say this. My decision to join Reform was never personal and isn't personal. I bear no ill will against any of you. I find it sad that many of you now refuse to speak to me or even look me in the eye. That's your choice, but it doesn't change the truth. Your party is responsible for the mess this country is in. The Conservative Party is the problem, not the solution, and you know it. Ultimately, I made this decision because I can now represent my residents more effectively than ever before. They elected me, I have a mandate, and if anyone here struggles to grasp that, I suggest they take the weekend to educate themselves on how democracy actually works in this country. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you for allowing me to clarify and a right of reply to the debate that took place the other week. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wilkin.
Could I just say, Chairman, before a party political broadcast, there normally is a warning, so you can go out and make yourself a cup of tea. But we had that one thrust upon us. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's draw a line under that, I think, and move on in harmony, I hope. Is it your wish now that I sign these minutes as a true record? Thank you. Right, that's those two. Brings us on to declaration of interests. Does anybody have any declaration of interest at this time? No, good. If it does turn out that you have one, you can make a comment at the time. My chairman brings on to item 4, chairman's announcements. I only have a couple of things really. Is that I'm hoping to see a lot of you at my civic reception next week, and also my skydive. I know it's been put around on social media, and if you can make a contribution yourself or invite other people to as well, and push it as far as we can so we can raise a lot of money for East Anglia Children's Hospice. Right, thank you.
Chairman?
Yep.
I probably might be a good idea to actually start a fundraiser for you to actually see if we can raise enough money to supply you with a parachute before you jump.
And all those in favour? Thank you. Which brings us on to the leaders' announcements. Over to you, Sam.
Lovely, thanks, Chairman, and good morning, colleagues. I'll keep my remarks as brief as possible around local government reorganisation for today's meeting, because the portfolio holder for devolution and LGR will provide an update shortly. But following our debate in our chamber and our extraordinary council meeting last month, I'm pleased to report that we've now submitted our interim plan on the local government proposals which government requested us to do so. We did so alongside 6 other district councils in Norfolk, and despite our differences of approach with South Norfolk District Council, we have, as districts across Norfolk, demonstrated maturity, collaboration and the ability to work in a really meaningful way to ensure that residents are at the front and centre of any changes which this government is requiring us to undertake. We now await that feedback from government for our interim proposals, and we hope that that will take place later this month, in which myself and the portfolio holder and the chief executive will update members. But to be frank, I'm not hopeful that there will be any substantive information coming forward in relation to our interim plan, and this will leave us in a small state of flux ahead of our final submission in September 2025. I want to once again stress to colleagues that we will be working across this political chamber to ensure that our submission in detail in September supports every single one of our communities and our residents across the fine district of Breckland. I'm pleased that also the government chairman has listened to, once again, our continuous plea around our long-term towns fund for Thetford, which the previous government had announced. We've now had the final confirmation that £20 million will continue, and I'm delighted and pleased that we have our first formal meeting under the new governance structure this Friday in Thetford, in which we'll be joined by colleagues across the political sphere of all tiers of government, including our Police and Crime Commissioner and our local members of Parliament and other bodies who represent the fantastic town of Thetford. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to bring real, tangible change to that community and its hinterlands, ensuring that Thetford has the ability to understand its full destiny and that this will be in its hands. I look forward to bringing back to this council some of those proposals, as I'm your representative within that space. The town's board of 20 million doesn't go overly far, but we need to make sure we manage expectations, but more importantly, just like LGR and devolution, are placing our residents and our communities at the centre of any of those decisions as we move forward. Chairman, you'll also seen in the most recent announcement from Councillor Hewitt that we have now seen the final sale of Barnum Broom Golf and Country Club. That was successfully completed last month. I made a commitment along with Councillor Hewitt that we would keep all members and the public informed of that if it did come to a positive conclusion. That has now completed. The council acquired this strategic asset in 2006, and through prudent financial management and investment resulted in a net positive return to this council of 2.7 million. Throughout our ownership, that revenue has generated investment to support all of our key services and keep council tax low across the district. Furthermore, Chairman, the capital sale of that investment has now allowed us to further direct and support residents across the district, in which we have acquired temporary accommodation to support some of our most vulnerable members of our community. With this transaction now concluded, I can confidently say that Breckland made a sound investment, one that has delivered tangible benefits, and we will continue to do so across our commercial portfolio for the remainder of Breckland District Council's existence. On this very topic, Chairman, I also held the virtual first town hall meeting on the 4th of March, and I want to give thanks to Ian Clark for putting me through the ring and holding me to account on what were some very important questions to our community. This is a different way for us to engage with our residents, making sure that I, as the leader on behalf of all of you and our communities, can be held accountable for the decisions we make in this place. We had strategic questions, but also we had some really important local issues around the Abbey estate and industrial expansion in the village of Griston. All of these issues matter to everybody across our community. And Chairman, just to try and add on, finish on a positive note, I'm pleased to report that we've seen a planning permission approved by the Planning Committee around MSV in Snetterton. Snetterton is one of our growth hubs across the district on the A11 and seen tangible financial investment from this district council in the improvement to the power network within that locality. Now unlocking further job creation and growth across the district, but more importantly, in Snetterton. We've now seen our first business confirm its intention to move there, and I look forward to seeing the whole of that site, including a hotel, come forward across the 13-acre site over these coming months and years. This, Chairman, demonstrates Breckland District Council's vision, its ability as a council to ensure that we're supporting economic and regeneration and growth, and that we must ensure, in whatever the future landscape looks like, that residents, businesses have the support of their local council and councillors as we move forward into the new world. And Chairman, I'm happy to take questions under further items on today's business.
Thank you for that. So If there are any questions, it will come under item 7, questions without notice. Which brings on to item 6, questions under notice. We have none received. Which brings us on to number 7, questions without notice. And the usual order is Councillor Cogman first, then Councillor Wickerson as Deputy Leader, and then Councillor Hunter-Clark. Okay, off you go.
Thank you. A question is for Councillor Suggett. We welcome the new design guide for town shop fronts. Whilst this is being used to determine planning applications, can the Deputy Leader please advise on how current buildings in use will be brought up to standard? Thank you.
Thank you. The Director for Planning and I came out to see Dereham a couple of weeks ago. We've twice actually been out to Dereham. We came to the Town Council and had a chat with everybody there around some of the challenges around some of the buildings, and then equally some of the challenges that we have put against ourselves with regards to enforcement when those places already look in that space. We further went on to have a walk around Dereham with a couple of the landowners, shop owners and what have you themselves and the Town Council, where we could really see what some of those challenges are. I think it's safe to say some are easier to overcome than others, and not all of them need us as the district getting involved in those spaces. We had a really good chat with the Town Council around what the Town Council, community groups, next door neighbours, neighbouring businesses could do themselves around actually that kind of joint effort. You know, we've made our place look really nice. Actually, it'd be really nice if you could do the same. It doesn't always need Simon's team of enforcement officers to go around there and do that. But obviously when it is, it does need to go down that route, which, as we know with certain things, isn't always the easiest of routes. And we do have a bit of a limited toolbox with that. However, with the design guide for the shop fronts, we're hoping to get that better at the front end, which is always much easier to overcome than letting something get to some of those spaces where they're currently in. But hopefully they'll both be able to work really well with each other, and then us as communities, we can all do something to help improve the look of our high streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wickerson, please.
Thank you, Chair. The question is for Councillor Borrett. On behalf of the people of Swaffham, who have made their thoughts quite clear to me, can our relevant Cabinet member confirm in writing that the £700,000 sitting ring-fenced in our accounts for Swaffham Leisure will remain so, excuse me, so sorry, and will not be lost in the LGR accounting process? We have waited 6 years so far for sports and leisure to be improved in our town, and we would not want this amount to be lost in the above process. Thank you.
I think you addressed it to the wrong portfolio holder, but I think Sam's going to take this. Yeah.
Thanks, Chairman. And as much as Councillor Borrett is leading on Devo and LGR, he won't know sort of the capital programmes of activity which Councillor Ashby would pick up. Our commitment is still there, Councillor Wickerson. And if you haven't already, you should be having a date in your diary for yourself, Councillor Anscombe and Councillor Morton, in which we're coming out to talk around our next phase of our investment. We need to expedite that to make sure that we're protecting our vision and the importance of leisure and grassroots sports within the town of Swaffham. And I look forward to you bringing your support over these coming weeks and months around what that activity will look like.
Thank you. Right, Councillor Hunter-Clark, please.
Thank you, Chairman. My question's to Councillor Borrett. In light of your obsession with how Terry Jeremy MP voted in cancelling the county council elections, I think it's in the public interest, Councillor Borrett, for you to explain how you voted on this matter. You did not vote against cancelling the elections. You attended County Hall that morning.
Is this a question?
It is a question, I'm coming to it. Participated in the Conservative group meeting and then left the building without attending the full council meeting despite being paid to do so. Could you therefore please clarify how you voted and why you did not attend the full council meeting? Thank you.
Before you answer, this is a county council matter, not a Breckland council matter. So
well, it's up to him whether he decides to answer, isn't it? Sure.
It's up to you whether you wish to reply.
No, I'm always very pleased to speak to Councillor Hunter-Clark, and he refers to the meeting that the County Council voted to postpone the elections. It is no secret that I was against the elections being postponed, and I was very disappointed that the Labour group, the Liberal Democrat group, and the Green group and the Conservatives all voted to postpone the elections, because that was not something that I personally was in favour of. I had a difference of opinion with the leader of the County Council over that, and I stepped down from my cabinet position. That's all I would like to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Cadell, please.
Thank you. I'm not quite sure who this is directed to, but can somebody please tell me where we are on the improvements and pedestrianisation of Middle Street in Watton, because that's gone very quiet, and we were promised that this would be delivered fairly soon.
Thanks, Chairman. In the absence of Paul Clousen, I haven't got the information to hand. Obviously, it's Norfolk County Council as the responsible body, but working with ourselves as the district and the town council to move that forward. But I will provide a written response to the Watton councillors and via the minutes of this meeting, Chairman, post this meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Callaghan, please.
Thank you. This was going to be directed for Councillor Cowson, but is in his absence, I assume, the leader?
Give it a go.
Give it a go. It's regarding St Nicholas Bowling Club, which lies in our ward. Last year, around Christmas time, a tree unfortunately fell down during a storm, causing some damage. Let me start going. After being blocked to see the lease by Breckland District Council officers, the club allowed me to scrutinise their lease regarding who is liable to remove the tree and to repair the damage. I scrutinised the lease, and I've asked the officers at Breckland District Council to point out the clause that the club are liable for all costs and the conditions. They are unable to do so, as I cannot see that it exists. With the negative press this is generating and the stress to the club, please could I ask for your intervention and a swift resolve to this issue? Thank you.
Lovely, thanks, Councillor Callaghan. I will attempt to respond to your question. I think first and foremost, I'm more than happy to meet with yourselves and the Bowls Club and our officers to move this forward. I think at the moment there seems to be some miscommunication, and this has been played out in the media, which is unhelpful to the members of that Bowls Club around their future longevity. The cost of the removal of the tree is about £3,000, and through the tenancy agreement we have with the Bowls Club, it is their responsibility for everything within the curtilage of the delineation of that footprint for that lease agreement. But we have proposed that we are willing to support financially a contribution towards that, but we are still waiting for the Bowls Club to respond. So I think we are being very generous with that thus far, and that's why I think to move this forward in the most positive and mature way is to meet with yourself, the Bowls Club, myself and officers to make sure that we can thrash this out once and for all, remove the tree, get the wall repaired and ensure that those residents of the Bowls Club continue to enjoy that fantastic asset.
Thank you. Councillor Turner, please. No? Oh, I've got you on the list. Councillor Kyrbird, please.
Thank you, Chairman. A question of the leader. I think you referred to revised governance arrangements for the Thetford board. Is there any significant change to those arrangements and the membership of the board?
Thanks, Councillor Cubbard. No substantive changes to the governance of the board. There are 2 vacancies which the chair will present on Friday, and it will be for the board members to go away and work out who we think from the community is missing. I know that the chair has been making representation to key leaders and community representation in the town to understand who may be suitable. We hope that some further names will come forward on Friday. Once those names are confirmed formally through the board, I will write to all members of the Thetford Greater area to confirm who those new board members will be.
Councillor Terry, please.
Thank you, Chair. Question for Sam. Sam, recently Kings Lynn and Downham Market councils have expressed an interest in forming a youth council with youth groups and relevant youth advisory boards. This initiative aims to foster collaboration and engagement with the young people in our towns. Given the positive impact such partnerships can have, would Breckland consider reaching out to the Breckland Youth Advisory Board and other youth organisations for a similar partnership? This could provide a platform for the young people in our community to have a voice and actively participate in local governance and decision making.
Thanks for the question. So I guess twofold. One, the District Council is not responsible for youth provision. That sits with the County Council. However, through some fantastic stewardship of our councillors in Attleborough under Councillor Taylor, Fraser, Oliver and Ashby, we've been able to move some of that Market Town Initiative funding to direct youth intervention, working in partnership with the Town Council, and I'm pleased that we are on the cusp of the opening of a youth centre and SEM provision within the town of Attleborough, and I would encourage all of our market towns to work in collaboration with us. You may note from the most recent UK Shared Prosperity report we took through Cabinet, there's direct indication from there around our intent to undertake further youth provision, a space we haven't operated in previously, but an area which, from working with ourselves and key partners, we think there is a further challenge, particularly around the preventative agenda. And I look forward to moving that forward over these coming months and years to make sure that we have a dedicated resource who is able to bring together all of those youth organisations across the district and understand how he can deliver a different type of youth provision if there is anything missing. In relation to your direct question around representation, I'm pleased that this council has a really strong relationship with the Breckland Youth Advisory Board and through Councillor Wilkinson. We will continue to do that. I know that on many occasions I've gone to speak to them in Thetford and in other market towns. If there are any issues or concerns you want me to go speak to them about, or Councillor Wilkinson, we're more than happy to do so.
Thank you. Councillor Monument, please.
I was just going to ask if I could be included if there's a discussion about the Dereham Bowls Club, something that interests me.
Chairman, I'm not permitted to extend invitations beyond that from what the direct request was, but as you've requested it formally to me, Councillor Monument, I'll be more than happy to meet with you and representatives from the Bowls Club with officers to move this item forward.
Is there anybody who hasn't asked a question wish to? No, so we can come back to Councillor Hunter Clark, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I think this one is best directed to the leader. Will Breckland consider transferring responsibility of car parking to Dereham Town Council, freehold, not leasehold? And will they consider redirecting funding to support the management and maintenance so that the Town Council can keep this vital feature free for users going forwards? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Suggett could respond because she's leading on this piece of work, but I'm more than happy to respond. The answer is yes to all the above. The decision hasn't yet been made. It will be for this council to make. We're working with all 5 of our market towns around the possibility of what that could look like, particularly in the new world of local government reorganisation. That was why this council made the difficult decision to pause any further activity around its wider car park strategy. We've had our first meeting with Dereham Town Council. It's not for me to expand on what that conversation was beyond this, because it was an initial private conversation with them to understand their issues, concerns, but also some of the opportunities around this. I look forward to updating members as this moves forward, but you're more than welcome to go to Dereham Town Council and ask a similar relevant question.
No more questions? Right, which brings us on to the minutes of committees, I believe, yeah. Right, I will read this out. A member of the council may ask the leader, cabinet member or chairman of a committee or panel any question without notice about the content of the report or any question on the accuracy of the minutes when under consideration by the council. If members do have any questions, please raise your hand under the appropriate item. I take that wasn't right. Yeah. So if we start with the Cabinet of the 10th of February, is it your wish that we accept this report? Agreed, right. Next one, Governance and Audit Committee. Are you happy to accept this report? No questions, lovely, thank you. Overview and Scrutiny Commission of the 6th of March. Are you happy to accept this report? Any questions? No. Planning Committee of the 11th of March. Are you happy to receive this report? Are there any questions? No, agreed. Right. And the last one, General Purposes Committee of the 20th of March. Are you happy to accept this report? Agreed. Thank you. Which brings us on to item 9. I remember the day when all these reports, we went through them page by page. It took forever. Right. Item 9, devolution and local government reorganisation, a verbal report. Update by Councillor Borwick, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Following the Council's almost universal support for our proposal around 3 unitaries for Norfolk, I'm happy to report, and the leader earlier alluded to it, that we jointly submitted our proposals with 6 of the other districts to the government. The government has acknowledged receipt, and they have said that they will come back to us with their feedback after Easter. They have been a bit hazy about exactly what that might mean, and at the moment it seems to be nothing more than after Easter they will tell us they've got feedback, but I can't, we were unable to get any further clarification on how detailed that might be. So when I have further news on that, I will report back to you. Just on some timings, the devolution for the setting up of the strategic authority and mayor for Norfolk and Suffolk can still be stopped by a vote at Norfolk County Council. So that can only go ahead when there is a further vote at Norfolk County Council saying, as the lead authority for Norfolk, and the same has to happen in Suffolk as well, Suffolk County Council have to have a vote saying they wish to proceed with the government's so-called devolution. So there is going to be a further point, and I don't know when that that vote will be held, because we haven't had indication from the County Council as to that date. If they vote to go ahead, as you know, the mayor election for the directly elected mayor will happen in April 2026, sorry, May 2026. And at that point, the strategic authority will come into existence, and it is likely that the mayor will then start to charge a council tax precept for the strategic authority. So that means that come next May, we'll have council tax from your parish council, a tax demand from your district council, a tax demand from the county council, tax demand from the police, all of which, and on top of that, a further council tax precept for the strategic authority for the new mayor. So let's hope that Norfolk County Council makes the right decision in the summer. One of the proposals that's been loudly trumpeted in the media, and I've had a lot of questions on that from members, so I just thought, with the chairman's agreement, that I would just respond to some of that. There's a claim being made that a single county unitary would be much cheaper than the 3 unitary model that we supported here in this chamber. The most recent single county unitary to be formed was that of Somerset, which went live in April 2023 after being first mooted in 2021. That is a single county unitary with a population of over 500,000. Following initial instructions, so there were 2 proposals, one for 2 unitary and one for a single unitary. Elections were held to the new shadow authority in 2022, and the new authority went live, as I said, the following year in 2023. 7 months after coming into existence, Somerset Council declared a financial emergency, say it needed to cut £100 million from its 24-25 budget. This is despite saying that a single county unitary would save money over the existing setup. The authority subsequently voted in favour of a £66 million package of cuts and savings, a downsizing programme that is currently in train, and an intended cut of 1,000 full-time staff. Shortly after its creation, Somerset was forced to ask the government for exceptional financial support of over 70 million. An independent team from the CIFA highlighted that there is a significant risk that the authority may have to ask for additional support to balance its books for 25-26 as well. The council was also granted permission by the government to raise its council tax by 7.5%, which is above the legal limit of 5%, which is what's being proposed for the Norfolk councils for this year. The report highlighted poor morale among the workforce and delays implementing the transformation programme that had been promised. Thus far, less than half the predicted efficiency savings look like they can be achieved. It is acknowledged that the process of merging the 5 authorities into a single unitary authority, together with the associated management challenges, is very significant indeed. These issues have contributed to the financial difficulties on the Council's journey so far. That's a quote from the CITFA report. Independent reviewers have highlighted that the business case for unitarisation, it's nothing to do with nuclear weapons. The business case for unitarisation may have underestimated the timescales and overestimated the benefits that might be achieved by a single county unitary. So just, I think, with that rather salutary tale, I thought I'd bring members up to date. I'm not aware that this is for questions, but I'm happy to answer any, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. I was just going to say, does anybody have any questions on that? Yeah.
Yeah, you highlighted that, in your opinion, there will be another tax. You went through quite a few. Is that from a point of knowledge? Is it a wild guess? How do you come up with your supposition?
Well, Councillor Bramwell, thank you for asking me that question, because it is, devolution is a bit of a dark art at the moment, because there's not everything that's written down. However, in Cambridgeshire, they have district and county authorities, and they have a strategic authority led by a directly elected mayor, and that mayor does charge a council tax preset for the running of the strategic authority. It is unclear how the strategic authority would be funded if it didn't raise a council tax precept. So that's why I said it is likely. There is no government money, so I think that it's quite a serious probability.
Councillor Banbridge, please.
Thank you, Councillor Borrett. You gave us some interesting details about Somerset, and I agree with them. I found them out myself. Can I ask, with your new duty in the Cabinet and with your troll around what's happening over the country, have you found any unitary council with a mayor that has in fact saved money at all?
The answer to that is quite no. So the other single county unitaries, such as Cornwall and Northumberland and the unitary councils down in Christchurch and Poole, have all failed, in some cases for over 10 years, to deliver the promised savings.
Thank you. Any further questions on that? No? Good. Which brings us on to item 10, amendments to the Constitution. And Sarah Wolstenholme-Smyre, our Legal Services Manager and Deputy Monitoring Officer, will present the report, which can be found on pages 67 to 70 of your agenda pack. And I believe Alison Chubbuck is here to answer any technical questions. Is that right? Is that right? Sorry? And the executive member. Right, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. This report seeks approval for a number of variations to the Constitution concerning the financial management standards in the main. The first amendment relates to paragraph 3.6.3 concerning furniture, equipment, vehicles and plant, and this simply is to remove reference to the financial handbook, simply because we do not have one. The second amendment again relates to furniture, equipment, vehicles and plant, but this time to paragraph B. This is an amendment to increase the write-off authority as listed for the Section 151 officer from £2,000 per item to £20,000 per item. And I'd like to stress this is only for obsolete and damaged items. And the reason for the amendment and the suggestion is to bring this in line with other financial values within the Constitution. The next amendment, amendments 3 and 4, these amend the values as indicated. These are to align approval values for budget transfers and grants for Cabinet and Council respectively to that within other parts of the Constitution. And finally, amendment number 5 relates to Standing Order number 64, and that amendment is simply to remove the date as stated, as that date is not provided for within the legislation and therefore serves no real purpose. Governance and Audit have considered the amendments and have endorsed them. So the recommendation today is that the amendments detailed in Appendix A of this report be agreed and that the Constitution be amended accordingly.
Right. Thank you. Could I have a proposer for that? Councillor Webb and seconder. Councillor Cowan, I saw yours first. Are there any questions? No? Good. So the recommendation that the amendments detailed in Appendix A of this report be agreed and the Constitution be amended accordingly. Can I have your vote to that, please? Anyone against? Any abstentions? That is passed. Thank you. Let's bring this up. Next one, item 11 then, political balance. I believe this is down to you, Teresa.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, members. Today I'm presenting the report regarding the allocation of committee seats in accordance with political proportionality. Following recent changes to the political landscape within our council, it's become necessary to undertake this review and make any required adjustments to the seat allocations. These changes are crucial for ensuring that the distribution of seats across the various committees remains fair and representative of the political makeup of this council. Based on the revised allocations, we have identified that the following changes are required. The Conservative group will concede 1 seat on the Overview and Scrutiny Commission. The Reform UK group and others will need to agree on the allocation of 1 available seat on both the Planning Committee and the Overview and Scrutiny Commission, and there are no changes to the seat allocations for the Labour group or the Independent/Green group. These adjustments are crucial for maintaining fairness and ensuring that every political group has appropriate representation across all committees. Therefore, the recommendation asks Council that following a review of seat allocation, the Council agrees the political balance of committees and make the required amendments as outlined within the report. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Can I have a proposer for that, please? No one? I think we got Councillor Webb there. Seconder? Councillor Crane. All right. Are there any questions on that? No, you have heard the recommendation. All those in favour? Yep. Anyone against? Any abstentions? No, that is passed. Thank you. Nominations for committee and other seats. Councillor Suggett.
Teresa.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to make changes to overview and scrutiny and remove William Richmond from that seat. And with the outside bodies, the Norfolk Health Overview and Scrutiny Committee, I would like to remove Councillor Robert Kybird and add Councillor Peter Wilkinson. And in the Greater Thetford Partnership, Councillor Terry Jeremy is to be removed from that and to be replaced by Councillor Stuart Terry. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cogman.
Okay, I believe there is a Labour vacancy on Appointments and Disciplinary Committee. So we'd like to move Councillor Harry Clark to that post and then put a substitute in of Terry Land, replacing Harry as a substitute. And then also a planning substitute is David Backbourne, because we've got a vacancy there, I believe. Is that all okay?
Right, thank you. Councillor Wickerson.
No changes,
Lovely, thank
Chair,
you.
thank you.
So Councillor Hunter Clark, please.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Hussey to the Overview and Scrutiny Commission, and I will sit on that as a substitute. Thank you.
Right. Okay, that's all sorted. Was there something about we had to agree between 2 groups as to...
Sorry, Chairman, I believe that's been agreed, and Councillor Anscombe will remain on the planning committee. I think that's been agreed, Judy.
Yeah, right. If you agreed, then that's fine. Which brings us on to any items that are urgent. I have none. And before I close the meeting, can I remind everyone again of the Norfolk Police Personal Safety and Security Briefing, which will take place after a short comfort break. It is now 11:15. Can we be back in here by 11 o'clock to start, please?